What's going on, YouTube? We are back with another series of videos. Now, I guess I'll just preface this with saying that this is going to be an application that I'll have for my portfolio. I decided to have it kind of like a walkthrough with YouTube as well, since I was going to make this from start from zero. So before we even start with the app, it is going to be made with Mongo, Express, React, and Node, so it'll be a MERN. And what I have in front of me is a mind map, and the mind map kind of helped me map out every bit of the application in its own little section. Now, I put server here, so what the server is going to be handling is connection to the database and adding users and food items to our database. Now, I haven't explained what exactly I'll be using for the food part of it, but I'll bring it right up. And so the FDC has a API that shows you basically food nutritional information for food that you decided to type in. So let's say, for example, it's let's see if it's this one, maybe food search. Yep, it's this one. So we can do this. Let's make it nice and pretty with our extension. So then we can basically search food, and we get our results. And now we can use the FDC ID to go deeper into that search. So let me find it real quick. So it would be this one. So now, whoops, API key missing, demo key. Okay, so let me use my API key now. I've already set my thing up. I even have my environment variable. Let's see this real quick. Now we need that ID real quick just to see more details into this. So we put that ID here. Let's make this pretty. Okay, so then here we get nutrient numbers, like unit numbers, so grams, I'm assuming, and then one of the other things that I need to get from this is right here at the bottom. Okay, where is it? So serving size 28, and it's saying 28 grams. Now household they also give us household serving full text, so I'm assuming that's 1 ounce because it's 28 grams. So then we'll be needing that, but that's the API as far as that goes. So we're gonna have two schemas for our database. So one of them being the food, and we're gonna be including all these things in there with the username as well. So that whatever user ends up adding food to their profile, so to say, it'll be included with that, so we'll be able to retrieve it later on. Also, for the user, obviously they need to pick a username. There's going to be a date when that user was created. Also the total calories, so that they will need to choose the amount of calories the calorie goal. Sorry, actually that's the calorie goal, but then the total calories is what's counted, how much calories they've had for the day, and then it'll be the calorie goal. Now I have a authentication box for the server. Now I haven't decided if I wanted to do that yet, only because it is an application for my portfolio, and it is something that I just want a user to be able to go in there right away and start adding things and seeing the whole interface of it. But here I have a client side box and then a dashboard, which our dashboard is going to be asked for username food. So we'll be able to pick what user it is, and then within that, once you pick that user, then it'll retrieve the food for the user. Now ignore this. This is for if we decide to have a login, but now then we can add, what I want to be able to do is add food, also delete it and update it. So that is kind of the mind map for that. Now I also made a quick sketch for this. This wireframe, basically this would be the what loads as the main page, I could say the home page, and we're gonna have 3 tabs now. Username, I'm thinking we can have like a drop down with all the usernames that have been created, and then for that username we can have the calorie goal that is selected by the user, and once if we decide to click on the meals tab, then I think a table would be good for this. Now I'm thinking about having this on top instead, so that's probably what I will do, is have this on top, and then for the search option is the search bar, and then just results here with the name, and then a button that says view details, and then we'll have it pop up that it's gonna give us the servings, ingredients, and then obviously all the micronutrients and macronutrients. I did forget to add the add button, so we'll be obviously be needing that, but one of the other things is that I want to have this displaying at all times. But yeah, that's kind of how it looks like so far, so let's get to it. So I did say that I already have some of this already kind of set up. So I have my environment variables, my Atlas URI, my API key. So I did create the user. As you can see, I have a bug right now, and that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. So I'll be working on that bug, and then we'll continue on. Okay, so it seems like our imports of the routes are not the thing that's working. Let me see. Because we are connected to the database, it seems like now. See if I can find the issue here real quick. So I think it is simply a exporting thing. So if we actually change it to export module, Okay, so it seems to be working. Let's do the food routes. Actually, it's for the food. We are making the model for the food. It's gonna look identical as far as setup for. Let's go ahead and paste that. We do have to change this food. Food name. So we'll do carbs, protein, and fat. They're not strings, actually. No, they're numbers. Just realized that. So also a number. Carbs, protein. Let's do fat. So servings, okay. Serving measurement. That'll also be a number. Serving measurement. That would be a string. So you have the name of the food. Then we'll also need to type in there the username. So we'll username, actually. Required, yes. do the food round. Let me double check this real quick. Okay, so we are back. I'm done debugging this issue that I had, and the problem was that I had this export default router, I believe that's what I was doing, and it's module exports.router equals router. I think I was just thinking of React, but anyways, we are just about done with the server side. I know I had to take a moment to read more documentation and try to basically make the video within an hour long without having to sit here and read through documentation. Obviously that would be a lot longer. So we left off on the user. Now we have on the user route, so now we have the default route which gets all the users, and this is how we add a user. We use the HTTP method post, then we create a new user from our model, and we pass in the user, the calories, the calorie goal, and we use the save function. I'm trying to remember what else was it? Okay, you know what? Let's just move on. So I went ahead and also did the model for the food. Now we have again name, calories, ingredients, carbs, protein. There's also a couple things that I had to kind of like think about. The routes for this. Whoops. So we would need a get route, a post route. So the get, we were gonna get all the, with that we will get all the users, not the users, sorry, the foods. And post, we add new, and we'll also need to be able to delete. So, and with that we'll need the ID. And put, which allows us to update an existing food. And the only thing we really need to update would be servings and servings measurement, because that's if the user decides to basically double down on a food serving or cut it in half, then that's what we would need to. Well, actually, no. It would be, since I already have it done here. No, we would need to pass in the calories, carbs, protein, fat, servings. So if the user decides to do 2 servings instead of 1, which he previously had, then we'll do the logic on the front end, and it will pass in the new calories, carbs, protein, fat, and servings onto the route, and then we'll update it. Now this might have an error, but I did already create a route for all of the food. Now the problem is going to be we're going to have to do some logic here in the back end to retrieve only logic for the user that is currently been on, and adding, so obviously the post. This is probably going to give us an error because we're using a const and declaring all of these things here. And let's see, so delete, we're using find by and delete, find by ID and delete, so we'll need the ID passed in, and then the update. So let's go ahead and try this out. Let me pull up Insomnia. Get rid of myself real quick. Okay, so we already have the object that we're passing in. Let's try user, since all right, so let's do Eric. We'll pass in calories. That'll be my goal, the calories that I've paid, and then the calorie goal that I've set for myself. Actually, anyways, let's send it off. So it says user added. Let's check. Here it is. Let's add another one. I'll change this to a lot of miles. So calories, let's just say 1500. Okay, so that's working now. Let's go ahead and add the food route for our server. So we'll say food order. Yeah, see, let's quickly change this to a, I think that's, there it is. Okay, let's try to add a food now. Let's just say Oh, that's right. So let's pass in food. Let's do it this way. Save that. Still good enough. Whoa. I have name and username. So now I'm getting a different error. I did realize that I had the request and then the response opposite of each other, so I had response and then request, so I'm changing that right now to this. So request and response. Okay. User is required, but I don't. Whoa, it's not saved. Maybe that's why. There it is, food added. Let's go ahead and check back. In all honesty, it might have been that I just didn't hit save. Or does it really matter if you have these two in order? Anyways, let's check our cluster. Let's foods. There it is. Oops. All right, so it seems like it's getting there, and my other thing was on our user. If you remember that we had our profile, the calorie goal is set, but the amount of calories aren't set to the user until he starts adding, so therefore the amount of calories requiring them true would not pan out. Required false. Let's switch that up and let's add another one, another user. So let's put, we will probably have to have a put route to our user, so then once he adds a not when he adds a calorie goal, but rather once he starts adding food and the calories start counting up, that gets updated. So let's go ahead and just let's see this. So we need a user, calories, and calorie goal. So we'll say user let's add that I believe that's how I have it over here as well. Not just ID. call this the request. Food that find by ID and update. So we'll do user. I believe we pass in just the IDs. Oh, okay, so we need request not body. And then we pass in calories. Whoops. Just go with something else. And then I think it's options and callbacks. Actually, okay, let's see how this goes. Let's go back and grab that ID. Edit this one. So the ID. Oh. Edit. Okay, see, it worked. Let's see if it worked. Okay, there it is. It updated. So now we have the user me with the updated calorie goal. Not the updated the updated calories, which is what we wanted. Now let's update Eric. Okay, let's hit edit. pass in, let's see. Okay. Let's pass in 0. Send. Okay, we got a 200. Looks good. Let's see. Let's reload it. Okay, so there we can see it's working. So it seems like we're almost there with our backend. We will need to change some things here. Let's get rid of our options and callback. Find by. This might give us an error later on, but let's see. We're gonna update. So let's change this to food. Wait a minute, what happened? Calories. So we're updating calories. So let's do calories. Change it to 0. Carbs. Change them to 0 as well. Oops. Protein. Zero. Fat. Oops. Servings. And we'll also put 0 on there. Let's see if it works. Oh no. And let's just put it here. ID request, not body. Okay. Let's there it is. So it did update everything back to 0. So it seems like we're nearly done. Let me see. Can't think of what else we need to do. Let me add a comment to you. So our get calls are working now. Let's try deleting the user. Which one should we use? Let's delete me. Delete. Oops. Yeah, we don't even have a delete for the user. Can't delete a user if there's no route for it. So let's just go ahead and do it for food instead. Food, delete. Actually, let's delete it now. Find and delete. What is going on? Let me see if I can figure it out and we'll be back. Okay, so strangely enough, this worked and it was under add. That kind of makes no sense. If maybe delete. So let's add food. Okay, food added. Okay, so we have one food item. Let's copy and let's go delete. Okay. Delete. Okay. So said I have it so it returns the food on as a response. So let's check. There should be no foods in our data. Yep. Yeah, so I just needed to add delete. Probably going to, okay, so add, simple enough. Wait a minute, what did I do? Okay, I think I just made another mistake. Whoops. Food that add, honor, carbs, calories. Nope, not post. Okay. Let's get that ID. Delete. Whoops. What in the world? Okay, just a second. Okay, so let's try this again now. Let's get, we don't have any foods in there, so, oh my goodness. Let's add food. Okay, so food added. Let's, oops. Let's copy this ID. And we'll delete this. So now we'll do ID. Passing in the ID. A delete method. We'll need ID in the body. We'll send it off. Boom. So now we can go back and see if it retrieves anything. And no, obviously there's, so that's working. And seems like that's it as far as our database goes. Server. Now the next part of this video series would be starting on the front end. So we'll install React and we'll start kind of mapping out how our client side's going to look like, and we'll have probably mixed in the second part some state management. We'll be using we'll be adding Redux to handle some of the state. And yeah, this is so far this is the setup for my app. Really, this is a portfolio app that I'll be hosting. Hopefully this takes a couple videos long, but it's a learning process here for me, so I'll anyways thanks for watching, and keep a lookout for the next part. Bye.